do what I needed to do. But let me click continue. And can you give me 1 minute? My computer is kind of slower today. Okay, is everybody ready? Thank you for your patience. Okay. Welcome everybody to our spring edition of Chopped. As you know, I am Sei Lee. I've been the moderator for Chopped for the 3rd time. It's my privilege and honor to be here again with everybody. And I'm going to briefly introduce our judges for today. We have Miriam Hassani, a PhD and graduate student in computer science here, who was also the winner of Chopped, the 2nd season last quarter, apologize. And then we have Dr. Yong Chen, Professor of History, Associate Dean for Curriculum Student Services, and also our very own Faculty Director for the International Students Excellence Programs. Jessica Van Roo, Chef Van Roo is the Assistant Director and Culinary Recreation and Experimental Programs of Experimental Programs. Before I forget, there is a very special person that has been really supportive of this endeavor, cooking endeavor we all are very much enjoying, and it is our very own Julia Lupton. So I wanted to give a big shout out to Julia for always being so supportive and our biggest advocate here. And
I'll say, if I may,
yes,
I think Professor Lupton will also serve as a judge.
I don't need to.
No, please.
But I wanted to indicate that the slides are not full screen. So we need to.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to hassle you with any more tech stuff. But yeah, if you can you, is there a full screen in there?
Yeah, sure. There we go. Thank you.
Since we don't have, if I may, since we don't have many submissions, I think it'd be great to have Professor Lupton as a judge too.
Yes, I think that's fantastic. Apologies for the technical difficulties today. My computer of all days decided to crash on me, so I am using older laptop of mine. So I apologize, it's not in full screen, but it is.
We're not seeing the slides now.
Yeah, Say, do you want to just send, if you can't get it, I can always share them too.
Okay.
So you just want to send it to me real quick?
Sure, I'll do that right now.
Let's take our time and get it right.
Yeah.
We're everybody's friends here tonight.
I put my email in the chat.
Now we are seeing it, but yeah.
Yeah, let me do it. I'll get it up in PowerPoint.
Yeah, doing it slowly, it's always better, like slow food, right?
Indeed.
Food takes time for us to enjoy.
I thought I could cook my cookies at 700 degrees for 5 minutes instead of 350 for 14. Didn't work out too well.
Chef Jess could have taught you that.
Math, isn't that math supposed to work out, Jess?
He's had some pretty special cookies I've made for them, so I've spoiled him.
Actually,
bet.
yeah. I don't make cookies. I just leave let Jess take care of it.
Okay, it's on your way, Kyle, and thank you for that. In the meantime, may I ask Professor Chen if you could kind of unpack your inspiration behind the choosing the selection process of these eclectic ingredients, if I may. So I'm going
Yes.
to turn it over to you, Dr. Chen.
Thank you, Say. Thank you, everyone, for coming to this wonderful event. I think the reason why I was assigned for this fantastic job is because I raised questions about the choices in the previous events. People say, okay, now it's your turn, and I choose quinoa because for the following reasons, right? The first one is it's a fairly a fairly recent, it's not that recent, but fairly recent discovery for me. And during the pandemic, right? I cooked a lot of quinoa. Okay, so it has become a substitute for rice, which, as many of you know, is a sort of a staple food in Chinese cooking, which is something that I also study, right? Study, okay, academically. And during the pandemic, I actually tried to lose some weight, which I did. So quinoa is one of the reasons, right? It's a substitute for rice. It's also, I mean, in terms of texture, it tastes like couscous, something that I like. And it's difficult to do. People bake it. I usually steam it. Okay, and I don't have a lot of ways to cook it. Okay, but it offers a lot of health benefits, right? It's gluten free. For example, it has high levels of minerals, of protein and fiber. Okay, and some people say it's a very versatile staple. It's increasingly popular, but I'm just wondering how versatile that is. Right, we have a lot of talented chefs, whose creations we're going to see, and so I want to get some inspiration. Okay, so if you're ready, I can stop and then come back to the other three ingredients later.
I am waiting for the Outlook to scan the email for viruses.
Okay, so let me go on to the second one.
I'm waiting for the PowerPoint.
So the
there,
second one that I want to talk about is eggs. Okay, this is also a very interesting food product, right? During the pandemic, there has been a shortage of eggs in many places in the Bay Area, in Southern California, and other cities. Okay, so that heightened our awareness of this. Another reason for me to choose this one is our changing perceptions of the health value of eggs. I think back in going back to 1968, when the American Heart Association recommended that each person should only consume 3 eggs a week max. Okay, it's because of the supposed cholesterol levels, and that has really influenced. That perception has influenced the way we eat, especially our perception about the health effects of eggs, and the consumption of eggs really continued to decline. And then in the media joined this assault on eggs. Okay, Time magazine, for example, in 1984, I think in an issue published in May, a cover story entitled "Cholesterol," featuring very prominently, a picture of eggs with bacon. Okay, so it's a very prominent cover picture. So if you want to Google, I think it was the issue of May 26th, 1984. If you use the keywords Time magazine and then the date, you'll be able to find the cover. Okay, so but now we know, we can eat as many eggs as we want, as many as 5 eggs a day. Okay, so hilarious, right? And it's wonderful because this is also a very versatile food, and it's very nutritious and easy to cook. For Mother's Day, for example, I did the Japanese chawanmushi. Okay, it's a one very special way to make eggs. Because all the restaurants were packed, right? So we stayed home. That's one of the dishes that I cooked. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. Kyle, are you ready?
Yes. PowerPoint is opening after doing an unsolicited update. I'm not kidding. I'm like, really right now? Okay, let me grab it.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
Yeah, thank you. Sometimes it happens. Okay, that's working. Share screen. PowerPoint. How's that?
Perfect. Looks
Which
great.
slide? So which slide should we be on?
The next one, please. Yep, we're right here. Thank you, Kyle.
Perfect.
Oh,
You're
the
welcome.
previous one.
Got it.
Thank you.
It's going a little slow.
There we go.
Okay.
So we discussed a little bit about quinoa and eggs and its health benefits. And what about enoki mushrooms and sardines, Dr. Chen? Would you mind
Okay,
sharing about?
okay. You want me to continue? Yes, sorry. So I'll try to be brief. Yeah, the enoki mushrooms. No, this is something actually, I have learned to love for many years ago. Okay, this is one of the staple ingredients when you make hot pot. Okay, I also love it because of its elegant looking, right? The purity in color. Okay, you can use it, for as a decorative plant in your kitchen, in your home, and so that's those are some reasons why I choose that. In terms of sardines, it was one of the childhood foods that I've always enjoyed. When I was growing up in China during the Cultural Revolution, there was a severe food shortage. Okay, severe. I mean severe. Okay, so you can't. The ration for meat was in across the country was in most part of the country in China, it was about 1 pound a month per person, and in some cities it was a third of that. So what do you do? You just stay away from, for most people, you just stay away from seafood, from meat products, right? And for others, they use substitutes. Sardines is one of the canned sardines. Okay, and during the pandemic, okay, there was a panic about food shortage, right? So I actually bought quite a few cans of sardines, and try to. I actually had 1 can per day for a few weeks, which brought back very sweet, bittersweet childhood memories. Okay, so that's that. Say.
Thank you so much for sharing about some of your stories behind the selection process of these special ingredients. Now we've learned that they've been selected very intentionally. So appreciative of that. Just a side note, I stocked up on Spam early on in the pandemic, and Spam is not my go-to food. And even after a year and 2 months, we still have Spam on the shelf here. So I didn't think ahead, and none of us were thinking ahead, were we? I could just speak for myself.
We can
next-
swap. You know, I still
Yeah.
have some sardines.
we could do a food exchange. Yeah, definitely. That sounds like fun. How about we now move on to the vegan version of the mystery ingredients? And this was Dr. Chen's idea, actually, because I'm not sure if I'm telling the story accurately, but his son has more recently converted to veganism. So he was inspired to include these 4 ingredients for those who are not able to cook with meats. Anything I missed, Dr. Chen?
No, this is great. Thank you.
Okay, so we have special ingredients for vegan individuals: cornmeal, eggplant, chickpeas, and peppers. I'm actually gonna pose a question for Chef Van Roo here. What would you say cornmeal is comparable to? Is it like a rice, or is it more like a flour?
So it'd be more like grits. Or if you were talking about like Asian food, it would be like rice porridge. So it's that kind of consistency where it's soupy, or like gloppy, I guess. Or if you're talking Indian food, kind of like lentils that have been cooked down, a little bit like that. The only thing is cornmeal, after you cook it, if it's nice and smooth, once it cools down, it's hard as a rock. Not hard as a rock, but it's hard. It hardens up really fine. So that would be my best explanation of what it's like. But polenta. So if anybody has ever had polenta, polenta is made from cornmeal. So that's the easiest way.
Awesome, thank you. I'm very new to cornmeal. It's not in my typical pantry, but I will give it a try some other time for sure. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay,
By the way, say if I
Yes.
may,
of course.
you know, about 10 years ago, you know, the legislature of New York proposed to, you know, some people in the legislature proposed to declare corn as the state vegetable, right? So you know, why is that? And then the second question is whether corn is a vegetable or not, right? You know, food for thought.
Same goes for, is tomato a fruit or not, right? So corn along with tomato, are they fruits or not? What do you think? Question to the audience, please use the chat box.
So in the kitchen, we separate fruits and vegetables based on if they're for a dessert or a savory dish. So a tomato, if it's going to be for a dessert, could technically be a fruit, but most of the time it's used as a vegetable because it's used in something savory. So in the kitchen, that's how we separate the two. Yes, and I think of corn as a green too. Yeah.
That's a good way to distinguish fruit from a vegetable. I didn't think of it that way. Awesome, thank you. So the judging criteria, as a reminder, first is our visuals need to be fulfilled, right? The presentation piece is 5 points. Second is the creativity, and the somewhat new category of I would order it is the third category, and each person can be scored, the high score they could earn is 15 points. Next slide, please. All right. And we have 3 student leaders assisting with the scoring, and I guess we will start. If the judges can briefly pause between one score from the next scorer, that would be greatly appreciated. And here's our first submission. They have, this individual has chosen the vegan version of ingredients. As you can see here, it is Italian-inspired eggplant parmesan. Please feel free to, if you're comfortable, whoever is creator of this beautiful dish, feel free to describe your dish a little bit more, or if not, we could just move on to the judges.
Hi, so I used cornmeal for the coating as well as chickpea flour in place of regular all-purpose flour and panko breadcrumbs. And it's underneath a marinara sauce with bell peppers, onions, and garlic.
Mm.
And inside is mozzarella cheese and Parmesan cheese. Thank you.
Julia, would you like to go ahead? First?
Sure. Well, this is a beautiful dish. I think and it's Sarah Prom. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Julia.
That makes it harder to judge now. I think for creativity, I would give it a 3 because it looks like eggplant parmesans that I've seen before. And although it's using the vegan ingredient list, it's not actually vegan. So I wasn't quite sure about that. For presentation, I would give it a 4. I think it looks really delicious. I like the basil leaves on top. I like the way the top is browned. It's very appealing. And I personally love eggplant parmesan, and I think I'd be very likely to order this. So I would give it a 5 for orderability. Jess, do you want to go ahead?
Sorry, are you done?
Yes.
Yeah, this is a beautiful, elegant dish. And it's probably a dish that you won't be able to find in a vegan restaurant. But or wherever I find it, I see it, I will order it. So for that, for the third question, I'm going to give it a 5, third category. Okay, and creativity is going to be a 4. And for presentation, this is it also gets a 4. And I just want to add that when I was growing up, my mom is the master chef and of the house, and she always told me that eggplant is one of the most challenging foods to cook. And because it takes a long time for it to soften and also to absorb the flavor. And so, but it looks also so flavorful. So that explains my high scores.
I would also order it, so I would give it a 5. For the presentation, I would also give it a 4. And then creativity, I would also give it a 3, just because it isn't completely vegan, even though there are great vegan cheeses that would probably melt these days. But definitely something I would order any day.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm sorry.
And where's Marianne?
There's Marianne. Thank you.
Yeah, it's me here. So for the first one, this looks really awesome. For the creativity, I would say a 4. For the presentation, I would say 4.5. It looks really good. And personally, it's kind of my favorite dish. So I would order it for 4.5. And good job, the one who made it.
Fantastic. The
Beautiful.
bar has been set very high as we kick off Chopped Spring Edition. Okay, I think we're ready for the next one. All right, we have another entry who chose to work with the vegan ingredient, vegetarian eggplant galette, and chickpea hummus. And again, you are more than welcome to share as much or as little as you like about this creation. I don't see the individual on the call, but based on the process of how this individual prepared this dish, I believe she used like a cornmeal batter to kind of make a pancake kind of inspired vegetarian eggplant galette. So as I saw, it was more like a patty complemented with hummus.
Do I go first again, or do
Doesn't
we
matter.
rotate?
Go ahead. Peace.
Mm. Well, I like the fact that it is vegetarian and that I like this. I'm not sure what a galette is, but I like the word, and it makes me interested. It feels creative, like it's not something I've seen before. So for creativity, I would give it a 4. For presentation, I think I'm going to give it a 3. There's something about the color palette that is not appealing to me. Everything is kind of orangey. And so I think the presentation is not as good as it could be. And in terms of ordering, I think I would order this in a restaurant. I like all the ingredients, and I would be intrigued by this word galette and the whole concept. So I would give it a 4.5 for orderability.
Can I really quickly share that I had to Google the word galette myself, and it turns out it means a flat round cake of pastry or bread, or a savory pancake made from potatoes or buckwheat. In this case, it's a pancake made of cornmeal. So galette is much fancier sounding than a pancake. So kudos.
It definitely ups the interest.
Yes,
to call it
definitely.
galette. It feels sophisticated and
Mhm.
special. So that appeals to me.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Making me realize that I was not the only one who just Googled the word. Yeah.
I can go ahead and kind of add something. I always make galettes, but with fruits mostly. So I think this is a very, very creative submission, actually. So if we are going to give points, I would say 3 for the way it looks, 4.5 for ordering because it's super exciting, and also creativity, I would say 4.
I would also give the creativity a 4. The presentation, I would also give it a 3. I just can't, I feel like there's another way of putting the hummus, or maybe it's the flowers. It just doesn't all come together really, but I can see it kind of. So I give it a 3. And then would you order it? Definitely would give it a try, but I'd really like to ask the person, I feel like that's American cheese, like a slice of American cheese on top. So I can't tell, but if I would order it if it didn't have it. So I give it a 4, just in case it really is American cheese.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the third category again. Because looking at food, I'm imagining myself being in a restaurant. Okay, Whenever I see a cornmeal, that'll give me a very strong reason to order the food. Okay, so I would combining that with eggplant, certainly I would order that. So for that, I'll give it a 4. Right, and in terms of creativity. Okay, in terms of
چقدر خوبه اینجوری میشه
باگ پیشه نمیدونم چرا نمیشه تو ویدیوش نشون میده اینجوری میکنه
all right, so I'm gonna it's not a dialogue with the audience. I just realized that. Okay, in terms of creativity, again, I share Chef Jessica's sentiment. I really, I think the hummus is not well integrated into the dish. It feels like standing alone by yourself. I don't see the connection. I do not see the connection. Right? This is not a finger food kind of product. That you can use to for the hummus, right? And so for that reason, I'll give it a 3 for creativity. In terms of the presentation, okay, it's also a matter of which angle you're going to use to take the picture. Okay, so to me, I don't see the whole. I cannot see the whole thing. Okay, I only see, for the most part, the top of the dish. So for presentation, it's going to be a 3 as well.
All right, I believe we're ready for the next submission. I heard a gasp.
That was me. Although
Okay,
so
Julia.
far no one is using the 4 main. Everyone's going with the alternate mystery ingredients.
Right, absolutely. So
That is gorgeous.
would you like to start, Julia?
I guess I already did. That is just really beautiful. I like the variety, but someone going to say something about if the person is here, they should comment.
Yes, hi. This is the meze platter that I made. It's not it's not vegan. I am vegetarian though, which is why I picked these ingredients. So thank you so much for this option of the vegan ingredients. And I'm no expert on Lebanese cuisine, but thinking of eggplant and chickpeas really reminded me of elements of Lebanese cuisine. So I just decided to do my own take on meze platters. So I have roasted and seasoned eggplants and a coriander and jalapeno hummus, and a salad made out of bell peppers and cucumbers and lettuce and cottage cheese. And I used the cornmeal mixed with some all-purpose flour to make corn flatbread.
Well, that is beautiful. That is really beautiful. Well, for presentation, that's a 5. I mean, that is just the angle of the photography, the that plate that's kind of like almost like an arrow moving into the future of the meal and guiding our vision along with the food. It really is very nice food styling and food photography there, quite a high level. So I would give it a 5 for presentation. For orderability, I would give it a 4. And for creativity, I think also a 4. I think it's, these are relatively familiar ingredients or products that are being put together here. So it's not like it's highly original, but it's a very appealing collection of dishes to eat together, to enjoy together with a friend, ideally.
Yeah, for me, it's the same set of high scores in that order. Okay, and I really like the presentation. Okay, a lot, and I think in the combination of the different colors also help to convey almost the texture of the different foods. That's what I really love about it. This is such a fantastic creation.
So I agree with everyone says, and so I would definitely order it, give it a 5. The cornmeal kind of crackers or chips, they look really, really good. And I know that took a lot of extra time to make. And so to do that was definitely well worth the effort. And I like how you separated everything. So it does, it looks really nice. Creativity, I give it a 4, and presentation, I also give it a 4.
I also like
also-
how the eggplant is sliced, thin, but then maintain the shape. Yeah.
I also would say the creativity is 5. It really, sorry, the visualization is 5. It looks really yummy, and I would definitely order it 4.5. And also the creativity, I would say 3.5, because for me it doesn't look that creative. The ingredients are so simple, but it looks really good.
Thank you, judges. I guess we are ready for the next one. Okay, this is quinoa, Korean quinoa bibimbap. And I believe the contestant is on this call, and feel free to share as much as you like, and I will turn it over to you.
Hi everyone. I'm nervous now. Okay. So this is my Korean quinoa bibimbap. So I love Korean food, and we've been not able to go to restaurants, so I missed out on my Korean barbecue, my Korean sundubu. So I was thinking, with these ingredients, I can create my little kind of banchan dishes that you could find at different Korean restaurants, and then have a little twist of my take on it. So in describing the dish, I actually attended one of a cooking session with Chef Jess, and she mentioned the garbanzo beans where you could take the aquafaba. So I took some of the, sorry about that. I took some of the aquafaba and mixed it into my eggs to kind of give it a little salty flavor. I also cooked it in my quinoa, and then I patted dry the sardines, the canned sardines, and then I actually kind of coated it with aquafaba and then rolled it around the cornmeal after I seasoned it to give it the fried fish. So you can see little different banchans on there. So you have the fried fish, the eggs, eggplant. I got some peppers and stir fried it to give it with a little spicy gochujang soy and a little soy sauce, just kind of give it a little twist. And then the garbanzo beans, what I did is I kind of let pat it dry, then put it into the oven to kind of bake it, and then add it on top to give it some crispiness. The remaining sardines, what I did is I added some kimchi, some onions, some garlics, and then stir fry it. And then the enoki mushroom, I had to blanch that along with some shiitake mushroom. And then I blanched some spinach as well, julienne some carrots, some daikons, and kind of mixed it with the sesame dressing, sesame oil. And so layered it all on top of the quinoa, which you kind of see a little circle quinoa, like a little glimpse of the quinoa in the center, and then a little redness is the gochujang sauce. Hope you guys visually enjoy it.
Thank you, John, for that detailed description. All right, judges, how about we start with Julia.
Wow. Well, that's very impressive, John. I think for creativity, I'm going to give it a 5. I think, although my one question, it seems like you're using all 8 ingredients from the 2 different menus, but I assume that's not a problem since there's no limit to the number of ingredients that you use. So I'm going to give it a 5 for creativity. I think it's just, I like the way you connected it to not be able to eat out at your favorite Korean restaurants and then recreating elements of that experience here. The egg, the fried sardines. I never think of eating sardines except as they come out of the can. So I thought that was great. Presentation is really strong. I would give it probably a 4 because I don't think it's quite as stunning as the meze platter on that, with that very artsy angle that we got. This is a more straightforward aerial view of the dish, but very nicely done. And for orderability, probably a 4. I would definitely be interested in trying this. Is it the first thing I would order on the menu? I'm not sure, but very appealing.
Let me go next, if I may. So for creativity, I like, I think frying and coating the sardines. I think that's a very, 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 very interesting idea. I'm going to find an opportunity to try that at home myself. Okay, and so for that's the creative part of it, and for that I'll give the dish 4 in creativity. Okay, and in terms of presentation, okay, but also this is a little bit about creativity as well. I for some reason, in some ways, maybe this is just my personal bias. It looks like sort of a set of ingredients ready to be cooked rather than a finished dish. Okay, because all the ingredients, the mushrooms, the eggs, the onions, and I think there's some kimchi there. And the sardines, they all seem to be a little separate from each other. And so for that, I'll give still, it looks very nice, very very interesting combination of ingredients. So in the category of presentation, my score is 3. In terms of what I would order this dish in a restaurant, if I only see the menu, when I see the word bibimbap, I would order it. Okay, it's because that's one of my favorite Korean dishes. I love Korean food. Okay, but in looking at this, I'm not sure if it would remind me of the kind of bibimbap that I have always enjoyed in different places. It looks a little dry to me. Also, for a quinoa dish, because for quinoa dish, I always use a lot of sauce. Okay, and then you mix it. Okay, and so for the third category, my score is also 3.
All right, John. So for creativity, I'm actually going to give you a 5 because I myself challenged myself and took these 4 ingredients, and they are not easy. Sardines are, rough. And so thinking about what to make, this is one of those things that came to my mind too. Actually, a lot of Asian dishes came to mind. And so this was definitely an idea that I had, only my difference was I was going to break up the fish and make it smaller. So for creativity, I still give it a 5. Presentation, I'm going to give it a 4, but for one reason only. And it might be that I really want to know if you tried this. The egg, it would have looked really good, especially if you're looking down on it, if you had done like an over easy egg or a sunny side up egg. And then it would have given you that extra liquid that Yang was talking about, and you can mix it in and everything. Would I order it? Definitely. Anything with enoki mushrooms. Yang doesn't know. I'm obsessed with enoki mushrooms. And so I will eat anything with enoki mushrooms. And so I would definitely give this a 5 because this is a power bowl right here.
I also would say, due to mixing both series of ingredients, I would say creativity 5. I would order it 4.5 because I have never tried sardines, and this looks so yummy to be the first trial. And also the presentation, I would say 3.5.
All right, we are now on to our last submission, and it is vegan chana eggplant pepper polenta pie. And I believe the chef behind this is on the call, so I'm going to turn it over to her.
Sorry, I just had to reconnect.
Preparation was an Indian styled or Indian inspired dish. So I made a polenta pie with a layer of pureed chickpeas or chana, and sauteed the eggplants and bell peppers with a kick of the Thai chili peppers. And all of it was really kind of infused with cumin, garlic, and ginger, and just garnished with a tamarind and a mint, cilantro, lemon, like chutney or glaze.
I can start. First of all, this looks really good. I would say presentation 4.5, and creativity 4.5 because I think it's interesting to make it in a pie form. And I will order it probably 4 because it looks good.
For creativity, I also would give it a 4. Presentation, I'll give it a 4.5. It's very pretty. I might not put the yellow, but the green with the blue, dark color, whatever it is, looks really pretty. And then would I order it? As a previous vegetarian for 7 years, and yeah, a lot of that eggplant and all those veggies on top definitely look good. So I would order. I'd give it a 4.5.
Wow. This is very impressive. I think for creativity, I would give it a 4.5. I really like the idea of the chana with the polenta, kind of bringing together two cultures there in a really nice synthesis. I like the concept of the presentation, but it doesn't quite come together for me. It almost looks like it's supposed to be a face or an animal or something. So I feel like the plate isn't quite mastered as a field. So I'm going to give it a 3 for presentation. And for orderability, absolutely. I would be so eager to try this and to enjoy it. So I would probably give it a 5 for orderability.
Yeah, if I go to a restaurant, and in this case, a vegan restaurant, open the menu and see the name of the dish, which has all the exciting ingredients that I love, right? So I'm going to order it, right? So 5. Okay, so this will be one of the first dishes that I would order in a restaurant. And then when the server brings the food to my table, when I see the food, I won't regret it. I'm going to be very happy because I like the presentation. I mean, could it be improved? Yes, but if I see this picture, I will love it. So 4.5 for the presentation, right? And creativity, also 4.5 for the same reasons.
Fantastic. I believe this is the final submission. And so I'm going to give our student leaders a few minutes to
Maybe
Um,
Jess can demonstrate her
yeah.
dish while the student leaders are tallying.
Right. So all right. So I am going to show you what I would have done if I were given the 4 ingredients. I'm going to do a collard green roll. And I think this is a really cool way of making something if you've never made them before. And I'm going to show you some tricks with it. So first of all, sardines are amazing. I teach culinary medicine. All of these ingredients that we're going to talk about right now are considered power foods. And so they're incredibly important in the Mediterranean diet. And so I'm going to use the oil inside this. That's going to be part of my dressing that I'm going to mix with my quinoa. So quinoa these days, instant pot. If you have an instant pot, it takes 1 minute. That is it. You set your instant pot to 1 minute and you just let it go. And then once it comes down, you have perfect quinoa every time. So I make quinoa ahead of time and then I just freeze it. And then I reheat it as I need it. And then I'm going to add, where's my lime? I had a lime. Sorry, I'll find it in a sec. But I'm going to add some green onions into that oil. So that sardine oil. I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce just to give it a little bit more flavor. And then I'm going to toss in some of my quinoa. I'm going to add a little bit of the quinoa inside. And I'm going to mix that up. And then you can taste that to see if it's up to your liking and everything. Now I'm going to grab so I have a lime too. Add a lime because it needs something citrusy. So I'm going to squeeze this lime in there. But these are collard green leaves. I just blanched them. So I put them in water. And then you'll notice the stem is really, really thick on one side. You just take a knife and thin it out just like that. I'm going to cut my lime in half too. A little bit of lime juice. Squeeze my lime inside. That. I'm going to mix it and I'm going to start making my roll. So you can do this ahead of time and you can have them ready for lunch. And so like Yang was saying, the quinoa kind of acts like the rice. So this is a protein like powerhouse that we're talking about right now. And then I've got a piece of egg, just one egg that I scrambled and it's like flat and I just rolled it up into almost like a tortilla. I'm going to put that right in the middle. And then I'm going to grab sardines. So if you aren't comfortable eating a whole sardine like this, I would suggest you cut them up and then eat them. They are incredibly nutritious. Out of all fish, the smaller the fish is, the healthier it is for you to eat because it hasn't had the chance to kind of absorb the things that might be in the ocean that are dirty. So when you're choosing fish to eat, try to think small. Try to find small fish as opposed to big fish. I'm going to do one more squeeze of lime right on top. And then if you wanted, you could add more green onions. But now I'm going to roll it up like a burrito. So all you're going to do is you're going to pull up one edge, pull up the other, take up the other, and then squeeze tight. And you've got a perfect collard roll ready to go that has quinoa in the middle. And then when you cut it, you've got this pretty layered look. So originally I was going to do sushi, but then I thought this is really, really that much healthier. But if you think about it, you could take all of these ingredients and just put them inside a roll.
That was fantastic, Jess. And I love the way you phrased it. It's much more healthier of a choice than a burrito from Chipotle, although
Yeah.
I love my Chipotle burritos. I'm sure this is more of like a less than 1,000 calorie choice. So
yeah, and it's very filling because of all the protein and the quinoa is filling. So it's a good meal.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jess, for this demo. It's such a honor to see you in the kitchen again. It feels like I'm in your kitchen, and I love that feeling. I hope the audience enjoyed Jess's demo as well. And Julia said she's going to definitely try this out at home.
Good.
Thank you. All right, I think we are all ready to go. So this edition, we had staff and undergraduate students participate. So the winner for the staff division is Sam Somphon.
Hey, thank
Ino.
you.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Congrats.
And for the undergraduate student division, it was Nafta Jindal. Congratulations, Nafta.
Can you show the dishes again?
With the help of Kyle, yes. Thank you, Kyle. So this was Nafta's remixed meza
Which
platter.
one was it?
Oh, remixed meza platter.
Oh, it's that one.
Yes, this one. Thank you, Kyle. And Somphon's was the last one. It was the yes, vegan chana eggplant pepper polenta pie. Congrats, everybody. And each of the winners will be receiving a $75 Amazon gift card. So please look out in your UCI email boxes. You'll be receiving it tonight. Thank you. Again, thank you everybody for joining us and tuning into Chopped and being such a avid fan of cooking. And I actually wanted to share some updates. If we could go to the next slide. Next slide. Yeah, so Julia and all the panelists on this call have decided we've been away from each other too long. So we are now going to see you in person. A modified version of in-person Chopped will be coming soon in fall 2021. And more information will come towards the closer to the start of the quarter. Julia, might you have anything to add?
Well, this was just a great session. I learned so much from this. Jess, can you tell us about what the kitchen's going to be like in the fall, what you're anticipating in terms of what we might expect?
So I'm playing with some ideas, but I was thinking people could come in groups, or we might have a potluck and have people taste there, but the kitchen is going to be open. So we'll play with some ideas, but all of these events will be in person, and hopefully we'll have still a virtual component to it, but definitely in person Chopped. And we're going to surprise people, I'm sure.
I think the part I'm hoping to incorporate is the time limit, because it's such a critical piece of the show Chopped, where you're only given 30 minutes to cook. And I think that's just exciting to watch people in the kitchen really like going on Energizer Bunny mode really fast. So I would love to have it a modified version with a time limit. So that's just my request.
And I'm going to limit the supplies people can use too.
That's a good one too.
Yep.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
All right. Thank you everybody for joining, and thank you Jess for that wonderful demo. And I hope everybody has a good rest of your evening or day wherever you might be tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you, Say.
Thank you.
Thank you,
judges.
Bye,
everybody.
Thank you,
everyone. Thank you all.
everyone.
Yeah.
Really fun.